Let's get right into it. Is our growing reliance on AI actually dulling our minds? It's a question a lot of us are thinking about as this tech becomes, well, part of everything. Today, we're going to dig into the data and see what the experts have to say about whether AI is making us less sharp.
So here it is, the big question. Can AI make us dumber, or could it make us smarter? It sounds simple, right? But the answer is anything but. Are we accidentally weakening our own brains by integrating this tech into our lives? Or could it actually, elevate our thinking? This debate is happening everywhere, from university labs to our own dinner tables.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. We posed this exact question to an AI. Yep, we asked ChatGPT, and this is what it said. And honestly, it kind of nails it. The real issue isn't the technology itself. It's about how we use it. Are we leaning on it like a crutch, or are we using it as a tool to build something bigger? That tension right there between crutch and tool, that's exactly what we're going to unpack.
Okay, so let's start with the facts. Forget the speculation for a minute. What does the actual science say about all this? We're going to look at a key study that puts some hard numbers behind this worry.
First, though, we need to get familiar with a really important idea: cognitive offloading. It's just a fancy term for something we do all the time. When you let a calculator do the math for you, or let your phone remember a phone number, that's it. You're handing off a mental task to a tool to save some brain power. The thing is, with AI, we can now offload way more complex stuff, and that's where the real questions start to pop up. So the main study we're looking at involved 666 participants. And that number is important because this wasn't just some small, casual observation. This was a pretty big, comprehensive look designed to get a really clear picture of how using AI is connected to our cognitive skills. And here it is, the headline finding from the research. They found what's called a significant negative correlation. Basically, people who are heavy users of AI tools consistently scored lower on critical thinking tests. And on the flip side, those who used AI less scored higher. The data shows a really clear pattern here. More AI use seems to go hand in hand with lower critical thinking. So the big question is why, right? What's the connection? Well, the study found that cognitive offloading was the missing link. It's not just that people are using AI. It's that by using it, they're handing over the heavy mental lifting. This process, this offloading, is what seems to create the connection, leading to a drop in those super important critical thinking skills. It's like a clear three-step chain reaction. Okay, so we've seen the what from the data. Now let's dive into the why with some leading experts. We're going to hear from some brilliant minds at Harvard who use these amazing metaphors to help us really understand what's at stake. I absolutely love this analogy from Christopher today. He compares AI to the owl that's always sitting on the shoulder of Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom. That owl is a symbol of knowledge and insight. So the question he's posing to all of us is, are we using AI like that wise advisor, that owl that makes us even wiser? Or are we just letting the owl do all the thinking for us?
Oh man, this is an experience I think every single one of us can relate to. Karen Thornburg points out that just like GPS has kind of ruined our own internal sense of direction, relying too much on AI for thinking tasks could cause our mental muscles for problem solving to just get weaker. We take the easy shortcut without ever actually learning the map for ourselves. And this really brings us to the absolute core of the issue, which expert Dan Levy frames perfectly. Are we using AI to do work for us, where we just hand over a task and blindly accept whatever it spits out? Or are we using it to do work with us, like a partner that handles the boring stuff so we can focus on the deeper thinking? That one distinction right there changes everything. And here's the trap we need to watch out for. As Christopher Dede warns, being efficient isn't the same thing as being wise. AI is amazing at making things faster. But if what we're doing is flawed to begin with, or if we're asking the wrong questions, AI just helps us get to the wrong answer faster than ever before. It can make us incredibly efficient at doing things we probably shouldn't be doing in the first place.
All right, we've heard the science, we've heard the experts. Now, to really get a handle on what separates our human brains from AI, it actually helps to look at a philosophical framework that paints a much richer picture of our own minds. So this brings us to a fascinating concept from Vietnamese philosophy called tâm thức, which you can roughly translate to consciousness. It gives us this really holistic view of the mind, not as just a computer, but as this deep, three-dimensional space that's, well, it's way more complex than any algorithm could ever be. So what are these three dimensions?
First, you have intellect. That's our knowledge and experience. Second is the mind. This is where our emotions, our judgments, and our biases live. And third, you've got the subconscious, our gut feelings, our instinct, our intuition. Now here's the key takeaway. AI operates almost entirely in that first dimension, the intellect. It's missing the other two.
And when you see it laid out like this, the contrast is just stark. The human mind is holistic. It mixes intellect with emotion and a search for meaning. AI is purely computational. It's built for speed and finding patterns. Our strength is in understanding context, ethics, and asking why. They are just fundamentally different things.
You know, as Harvard expert Fawaz Habal puts it, AI can look like it's thinking critically, it can analyze data like a champ, but it has zero life experience, it has no ethical compass, no moral reasoning. Machines calculate, they don't comprehend, and that is a crucial distinction we can never, ever afford to forget.
So, after all that, the science, the expert analysis, the philosophy, where does that leave us? Let's bring all these different threads together and land on a clear, actionable conclusion.
At the end of the day, the answer to our original question, is AI making us dumber? It's not a simple yes or no. It's just not. The impact AI has on our minds isn't set in stone. It all comes down to how we choose to use it. It's all about intentionality.
So how do we make sure we're using it as a tool? Well, the experts have a pretty clear roadmap for us. First, understand its limits. Remember, it has no context or ethics. Second, always question its output. Don't just accept it. Third, take the time it saves you and reinvest it into deeper, more critical thinking. And finally, and this is the most important one, never, ever let it replace your own judgment.
And this brings us right back to that powerful metaphor of the owl. Look, AI can be an incredible partner in our thinking, a source of wisdom and insight, but as Christopher Dide reminds us, we have to stay in charge. The owl sits on our shoulder. It's there to serve our wisdom, not the other way around. The choice and the responsibility is ours.